Hello everybody, my name is Matt Lloyd. I live in Anchorage, Alaska, and I don't know about where you live, but where I live, it's almost winter. Boom! I love winter. It's one of my favorite seasons ever, and I love it because I love snowboarding. I grew up here. I've been here for 23 years, and 17 of those years I've been snowboarding. So one of the most important things that I've learned throughout the years is that it's so important to make sure that your snowboard is in good condition before you start the season. For that first ride, make sure it's good. So that's what I'm going to teach you about today. I'm going to show you how to properly check over a board to make sure that you're solid to go for the beginning of the season. Now, when you have good equipment and it really feels like you're attached to your board, like it's just an extension of your body, and what attaches you to the board is your bindings. So that's where I'm going to start, is with bindings. This is my board, and these are my bindings. So there are some main components to bindings, but they're all pretty much the same. You've got straps, two sets of straps. This is your heel strap and this is your toe strap, along with the respective other sides. This is the main body of it here. This is the backing, moves up and down. And where the main body attaches to the board, right here, the circular part is called a base plate. Now there are 4 bolts that screw into inserts in the board, and that's what actually attaches you to the board. So the first thing you're going to want to do is check these screws right here. Make sure they're good and tight. Just snug them up. Make sure they're good and tight. One thing to note when you're doing this is you want to get them nice and tight, but you want to do it with your hand. Do not use an electric screwdriver for this. One of my buddies did that and it pulled the inserts right out of his board. So just use your hand, make sure that they're nice and tight. Take a look at your straps. There are a couple bolts on your straps that you're going to want to look at, a couple screws, a couple bolts. Mine are right here. They kind of have this neat little knobby that covers them, and you can twist them with that, and that lets you adjust the size, but you don't want that slipping while you're riding. There's another one right here that connects your buckle. So you want to make sure those are all nice and tight on both sets of straps. You want to make sure your backing is nice and, it has nice smooth movement to it, but you want to make sure it's right. It's not going to come loose because you'll fall over pretty much. But it works off of 2 main screws that connect right there and right there. And you'll notice that they work on a slider system. If you look, see where that screw is, it's got a little bit of area to go back and forth. So it's made to loosen up and then readjust somewhere else, and that's to give you an angle on the back. But you want to make sure that they're nice and tight because they are made to loosen up. Do that with both bindings and you should be good to go. So why, you ask, do I place such importance on checking your bindings first? Well, I actually have a funny story about that. Growing up, I used to snowboard in a place called Arctic Valley, and this is before I knew all this, but I was riding an older board and I was on my heel edge, cruising across the mountain sideways, and I hit a little jump, and I was just going to jump up and then land again, and simultaneously in the air, my front foot, my left foot, my foot was still in the binding, but the binding came off of the board. These bolts right here ripped out. While on my back foot slipped out of the binding. One of the straps broke, the other one was loose, and my back foot came out. So my board wasn't attached to me at all. It turned and sailed all the way down into the valley. I spent the rest of the day looking for it in the powder, never found it. It was this really awesome board that I had just painted the top of it bright yellow, so you'd think that I would have been able to find it, but gone forever. So there's my humorous little anecdote about making sure that your equipment is good to go before you go riding. Also, nowadays, most mountains require this on your binding. On your front foot, you want to have a leash, and basically what this does, just got a little hook right here. It hooks onto your boot. So if your foot does come out of your binding or whatever, you'll still be attached to your board. Your board's not going to go sailing off on you. So one more area that I wanted to look at is the actual body of the board. You want to check the top sheet, make sure there's no spider cracks in it. If there are, use it as an excuse to go get a new snowboard. On the bottom, you want to check the wax and make sure the wax is good to go. Now, a new snowboard is going to have factory wax on it that's going to be super fast anyway. But you might want to, if you've been riding your snowboard for a season or so, go get it waxed. I prefer to have my board is my baby, I prefer to have it professionally waxed versus doing it myself. It doesn't cost that much. it sure is worth it. And you can bundle it in with the next section that I want to talk about, edges, getting your edges sharpened. This you should always have a professional do. This is not something, unless you work in a snowboard shop or you've been around them for a long time, that you should try and do yourself. I don't. I just have professionals do it. They can sharpen up your edges and it'll react just like a brand new board. So just to wrap things up here, snowboarding can be great. It can be an amazing, wonderful, exhilarating, relaxing sport. It helps me center myself in the wintertime. It's incredible. It's such an amazing sport. And it's especially good if you don't have to worry about the condition of your equipment. If you know that your equipment is all in good shape, then you're good to go. And so, just in closing, I'd like to say that if you're going to ride, do it right. Prepare your equipment so it's ready for opening day, and hopefully you learn to love winter like I do. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. Have a good day.